Some cars whisper, and some cars shout, and some cars arrive wearing a tailored suit, smelling faintly of expensive French perfume. This is the brand new DS No. 7, and no, it's not a fragrance, but it might just be the most stylish thing to have come out of France with a number in its name since a certain very famous perfume. I'm here in France getting an early look at the production version before it officially launches later on this year, and it's a big moment for DS because DS doesn't just build cars, they curate them. The No. 7 blends together bold design, couture-level interior craftsmanship, and also some seriously impressive electrified technology underneath. Think less SUV appliance and more rolling piece of French design. Hi guys, my name's Tish and welcome back to Auto Social UK. In today's video, I'm going to tell you all about the new DS No. 7, which you may be thinking is a latest generation of the DS7, which was one of the most important cars for DS. We're going to be finding out everything that you need to know, including the fact that not only is this a fully electric car, but it'll also be available as a hybrid as well. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you like new car reviews and car content, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. The original DS7 launched back in 2017 and went on to become the brand's bestseller. It really established DS as a standalone premium brand, separate from Citroën, with a focus on design, comfort, and of course, French craftsmanship. The No. 7 carries on that same positioning in the heart of the premium mid-sized SUV segment, but this is an all-new generation. It sits on a new platform, it brings new technology, and it introduces a much stronger focus on electrification. DS is also increasingly being positioned as the flagship French luxury brand. In fact, President Emmanuel Macron now uses a fully electric DS No. 8 as his official vehicle. So when DS talks about modern French premium motoring, they really mean it. So let's talk about powertrains, because DS is offering a reasonable amount of choice with the DS No. 7. At the entry point, there's a 145 horsepower hybrid. That's really aimed at buyers who aren't quite ready to go fully electric, but still want something efficient and easy to live with. Then moving to the electric models, you've got a front-wheel drive version with around 230 horsepower. This is paired with a 74 kilowatt-hour battery. That's more of your everyday efficiency-focused option and is expected to deliver somewhere in the region of 300 miles of range, which is solid for this class. The standout though is the long-range version. This gets a larger 97 kilowatt-hour battery, and that's the one capable of around 460 miles and a full charge, which is seriously competitive and one of the big headline figures for this car. And then at the top of the range there's the all-wheel drive model with more power and stronger performance, still using that larger battery as well, although the focus still leans more in refinement rather than it does outright sportiness, with range expected to sit slightly lower as a result. So there's a good spread of options here, but realistically the long-range electric version is likely to be the one that most people will gravitate towards. Now charging is where the car doesn't quite keep up. You're looking at around 160 kilowatts of DC fast charging, which is fine, but when you compare it to something like the BMW iX3, which can charge up at 400 kilowatts, it's clear that it isn't class leading. So while DS has absolutely nailed the range, charging speeds don't quite match up to that ambition. Visually, this is one of the boldest DS designs yet, and it's packed full of clever detail. At the front, the lighting signature is pushed right to the outer edges of the car, and that gives the No. 7 a much wider and more planted stance, while also creating a distinctive nighttime identity. The vertical light blades are extremely sharp, and DS says that even small aerodynamics refinements like this help to contribute to overall efficiency and electric range. The model can now be available with a partly black bonnet. Personally, I think it stands it apart from the competition, and the square badges are like designer labels on an expensive suit. Down the side, the proportions are really interesting. The roofline slopes gently towards the rear, giving it an almost shooting brake feel, rather than the boxy shape that you may expect from an SUV. It looks practical, but it visually feels sleek and elegant rather than bulky. Although the door handles may have fallen into the trap of style over substance, the front handles sit flush with the bodywork and pop out on approach, but the rear handles are integrated into the top of the rear quarter, again to aid in the aerodynamics, but the trade-off is that they're tricky to use and positioned too high for small children. Aerodynamics have clearly been a major focus. DS is quoting a drag coefficient just 0.26, which is very slippery for a car of this size. That low drag plays a big role in the number 7's efficiency and the impressive electric range figures that we'll talk about in a moment. The rear is boxy and upright with sharp angles and creases. They're clearly trying to boost this car's recognition with the large DS Automobiles logo across the flat surface, although plus points for a rear wiper. The crystal-style floating lights are also very cool, and the vertical daytime running lights mirror those at the front. In terms of size, the number 7 measures around 4.66 metres long, and that puts it right in the top end of the C SUV segment, starting to edge towards D segment SUV territory. DS positions it against cars like the Audi Q4 e-tron, BMW iX1 and Mercedes EQB, but physically the car feels like it belongs in a slightly larger, more premium offering. It definitely has real road presence. Tech is where DS really leans into that premium positioning. So starting with the driver assistance, you've got DS Drive Assist 2.0, and this is a semi-autonomous system that can manage steering, acceleration and braking on the motorway, and it can even carry out lane changes for you when prompted. It's not a fully hands-free driving, but it does take a lot of the effort out on longer journeys. And then there's one of DS's standout features, the active scan suspension. This uses a camera mounted on the front of the car to read the road ahead. It actively adjusts the suspension in real time to smooth out bumps before you even reach them. It's all about comfort, and it's something that DS has really built its reputation on. Lighting is another area where they've put a lot of focus, so the Pixel LED headlights can actually adapt their beam pattern to avoid dazzling other drivers, while keeping as much of the road illuminated as possible, so you're getting maximum visibility without compromising safety. And then there's night vision, which is also a rare feature in this segment. It uses infrared cameras to detect pedestrians or animals ahead in low light conditions, and then displays it in the driver's view, giving you an extra layer of awareness at night. Good to see that there's some substance beyond that style. Moving on to the interior. And where do I even begin? This is absolutely beautiful. Sure, it's a little bit much in places, but DS has always been known for that. It goes above and beyond when it comes to design. Everything from the watch strap leather, which I think is so incredible. It feels high quality, it's intricate, but they've just stepped it up for this generation. You have this beautiful grey leather with the piping down the side in silver, and then you have these elements within the headrests with illuminated DS badges. They feel so special. And then you have the matching grey leather across the dashboard, and you have that pearl stitching detailing. It's so very intricate and so different from everything else we get on the market. In the centre console, you have this starburst effect, and then even just these little crystal elements where the buttons are. It feels so special. This is not going to be a car for everyone. I completely appreciate that. But for people who want something which really has a wow factor, this has got to be it. At the centre of everything is DS's Iris system, so this is the main infotainment setup, and it controls pretty much all of the car's key functions. It's designed to be intuitive, with voice control built in, so you're not constantly diving through menus when driving. Then there's some more unique touches that you don't see everywhere, things like the neck warmer, which is exactly what it sounds like. It blows warm air around your neck and shoulders, and it adds to that overall feeling of comfort, especially on colder days. The panoramic glass roof also plays a big role in how this cabin feels. It brings a lot of light in, and it makes the space feel more open. It's designed to reduce glare, keep out heat in the summer and retain warmth in the winter, so you get all the light and openness without the usual downsides of a glass roof. There's also a slightly tinted finish, which helps control how much light comes into the cabin, so it never feels overly harsh or bright. And then there's the sound system. So DS has partnered with Focal, which is a well-known French audio brand, and the result is a system which is designed to feel more high-end home setup than typical in-car stereo. It's a 14-speaker setup powered by a 690-watt amplifier. DS DS has also added something called TAM 3D, which essentially creates a more immersive soundstage, placing you right at the centre of the music rather than just surrounding you with it. The result is a sound which feels deeper, more layered, and a bit more like a high-end audio system than typical car setup. So again, it's not just about volume, it's about creating an immersive experience. Seeing this car in the studio today has reminded me how much I appreciate DS design. We really don't get enough of them in the UK, and I think they're thoroughly underappreciated. The problem with the UK market is we like black leather and simple layouts. We don't tend to go for all of this really flashy, fancy stuff. And that's a shame because it feels so different. I think that's its key selling point. Sure, there's many other brands that you could buy, but if you want something which really wows you when you get inside, then I think this is it. But my worry is the UK market are just, I guess, a little bit too simple. And I don't particularly mean that in a super negative way. I just wish we were open to appreciating this a little bit more. It continues to thrive on the French market, but in the UK, we're a bit more picky, and DS doesn't tend to sell in big numbers. But when you compare this to other cars within the Stellantis range, which are based on the same platform, have a similar kind of range, I really think this just has that edge above pretty much everything. You're getting the comfort of Citroën, but you're getting that real French style. But let me know, what do you think of the DS number 7? I really think opinions are going to be split. Let me know in the comments down below. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more, then make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Until next time, guys. See you later.